What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. Get this, Wilder's trainer sees Andy Ruiz, Daniel Dubois as possible future opponents. Malik Scott, head trainer for the former WBC heavyweight champion, believes that there are plenty of options out there for his boxer. Last weekend, Wilder came up short against Joseph Parker, as we know. And he had this to say. He said another possibility is Daniel Dubois, who knocked out Jarrell Miller on the Wilder-Parker undercard. He said, who we got? We got Andy Ruiz, who's still looking for some action. Usyk and Fury. Daniel Dubois is there right now in a very good position. There are a few guys out there right now, Scott told FightHype.com. But what's most important to me is Deontay being right, spiritually, mentally, and physically, all in one. That's more of my concern, because I know that when Deontay is all the way right, none of these guys can beat him. Right now, after taking the loss and that type of performance, I'm not that keen on calling out guys. I'm focusing on the bigger picture with him getting spiritually, mentally, and physically right. Those are the words of Malik Scott, and let me counterpunch. Well, first, you're not keen on calling out fighters, but you just did. Andy Ruiz, Daniel Dubois, the winner of Usyk versus Tyson Fury, which I think is far-fetched, because I don't see how you think that you are qualified, or your fighter that's qualified to fight the winner being the undisputed heavyweight champion. I just don't see that being that way, unless Tyson wins and Tyson decides to fight Deontay Wilder again for whatever reason, which now his honorary gypsy brother has beat him, so why would he even want to fight him? There's levels to this. But Daniel Dubois, yeah, I think Daniel Dubois would be a good opponent for Deontay Wilder. I think Daniel Dubois fights enough like Joshua. Okay, certain similarities, not totally the same, but certain similarities, how Daniel Dubois fights and punches would be good for Deontay. You know, that could get him, you know, some lee room and see what he can do with someone like Daniel Dubois. Because Daniel can box, he can move, and he showed us that in the Jarrell Miller fight. But understand, Jarrell Miller is not a Deontay Wilder. You don't have a bigger target. You don't have a guy that's 333 pounds. You don't have a guy that's going to be right there in front of you. You got a guy that's going to stay range and, you know, hit that bolt action and look for that that Bushnell target to shoot and pull the trigger. So, yeah, I would like to see that type of fight. Why not? But Andy Ruiz, he's still looking for some action. Now you talk about Andy. Okay, see, this is where the arrogance doesn't pay off. This is where being arrogant gets you in some trouble, gets you at this point. Simply because, okay, you're talking about Andy now. Now Andy's an opportunity. Well, your fighter, Deontay, said, oh, be careful, Andy. You're going to end up on the shelf. You're going to end up in the breeze. You're going to end up through the cracks. You're not going to be worth a shit anymore if you don't take this deal with me when I want you to take this deal with me. Now, since he lost, oh, now that's a possibility. So I'll tell you this, guys. Mark my words. If Deontay Wilder and Andy Ruiz end up making a fight, and they actually fight, and it's not all the BS, and it's not all the drama, and it's not all the confusion. You know what that means? The shit last year in 2023 wasn't meant to happen based on both of those guys being complete and utter asses. Okay? Because either somebody didn't want the fight or they both didn't want the fight based on what they thought they were both worth. Counterpunch. If that fight between Andy Ruiz and Deontay Wilder is made, something that should tell you somebody's ass got humbled or both of those asses got humbled. Because at that point, like, oh, let's get this fight on because we missed out last year. That's the fight you should have had last year, assholes. If you would have been thinking about it, if you wouldn't have been thinking about how much money to give Andy or how much money that y'all could take for each other, y'all shouldn't have been thinking that way. Y'all should have been thinking, hey, Wilder needs a fight. Hey, we got a former unified champion right now. Knock him out so we can be ready for the next bout. Bars. That's how that should have been, but it wasn't. You played around with the opportunity and negotiated and talked and pondered and, and window shopped fighters like Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou had already a pretty solid deal to fight Tyson Fury, and that fight happened. Okay? That's how we found out that Tyson Fury had no intention of fighting Alexander Usyk at the time that he was claiming to fight Alexander Usyk. Okay? But with Wilder thought, oh, well, I just got Andy on the back burner. Oh, what? He wants so much money. He wants 50-50. He ain't worth 50-50. How dare him? He's been a champion for 2 minutes. How can he think that he owes this or deserves this? Him and his daddy. Your daddy gonna talk you out of money and this, that, and the other. Then you get whooped. Then all of a sudden the fight gets made. So mark my words, people. If Andy Ruiz and Deontay Wilder come to an agreement and that fight happens that quick, we already know it was some bullshit behind that fight and people strategically not wanting that fight to happen based on what they thought they deserved. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of now. Team Wilder open to fight Andy Ruiz and Daniel Dubois. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!